A great school is at this moment taking the trouble to guarantee its greatness and its service to its students for the next several generations.
What we're witnessing is the rebirth of a major teaching and research university.
You might say that this is our Renaissance.
Yale is engaged in the most significant work on its facilities since the 1920s and 30s. Since 1993, $650 million have been invested in campus buildings. Several projects completed in the fall of 1998 exemplify the goals of our ambitious building program to prepare Yale for its 4th century.
I think what we're engaged in here is not simply renovation, but in a way it's a renaissance. Just as the Italian Renaissance preserved the works of the classics, so we are preserving the great classical elements, historical elements of our wonderful buildings. And just as the Italian Renaissance introduced new elements, introduced new music and new visual art, so we, in adapting these buildings, are introducing new technology, new ways of organizing the space that suit current and 21st century needs.
Preserving the best of the past has been a priority. A sense of place and the spirit of community, so powerfully a part of the Yale experience, are both reinforced by our recent efforts. Old Campus, the entryway to Yale, where freshmen launch their Yale education and return to celebrate their graduation, offers one example.
Started from looking at each individual residential unit, the buildings themselves, and modernizing and upgrading them, everything from bathrooms to furniture to fire safety and sprinkler systems. One of the exciting things that we did this past summer was to re-landscape the entire inner courtyard. The Yale fence has been restored as well as additional seating areas.
Old Campus is gorgeous. Now it's just a place to hang out and lie on the grass and do your work.
I think my favorite part is they moved a statue of Nathan Hale. It used to be real close to Connecticut Hall, and nobody really saw it. And they had the tours go by, but it was hidden away, and now it's out and prominent, and it's really pretty.
A Yale career begins in the old campus, but it is shaped and nurtured in one of the residential colleges.
They give Yale the capacity to be a big school, 2,000 courses offered every year, in which students live in the sort of intimate communal setting of a small school. And so that's an enormous advantage when they see the mix of student rooms, study spaces, and then activity spaces, performance spaces of one sort or another. They really see the way in which Yale supports the whole life of its students, the life of the whole student.
Residential colleges are central to community life, but most were built decades ago and have been altered little since then.
We wanted to take these older institutions that had first opened in 1933 and 1934 and make them ready for the 21st century.
With Berkeley and with all the colleges that follow, we'll be renovating dining halls, serveries, we'll be adjusting the libraries, the computer rooms, we'll be providing cable, telecommunications data to each and every student suite. We'll be repairing every system and making them brand new.
To undertake the comprehensive renovation of the colleges, Yale has accelerated the timetable by closing an entire college for a year, housing students in temporary but exciting new living quarters known as the Swing Space.
It's quite grand and very comfortable, and it's exactly what we needed for a year.
The new residential building is an enormous contribution to the housing stock at Yale. It's dramatically different. It's more of an apartment-style living. Each suite has a living room that's fully furnished, as well as a bathroom, including a tub.
For anyone to spend a year there is definitely a plus.
A lot of people are going to benefit from this. I think students' quality of life is actually being enhanced, and I appreciate it.
The ideal of the scholar-athlete is an enduring Yale value.
A number of our students, over 85%, are involved in some sort of athletic enterprise, And that could be the elite athlete that's on our varsity team, or it could be the student that's participating in a club sport. We have 33 of those teams. We have a very active intramural program, and then a very vigorous recreational opportunity here at Yale. So to have facilities commensurate with that kind of interest is something that the university wanted to provide.
The focal point of Yale's athletic program is the Payne Whitney Gymnasium. The magnificent structure has been preserved, but inside, important improvements have been made, highlighted by a new world-class fitness center.
And as you enter this space and you see it, it's 22,000 square foot of space that is second to none. It's just spectacular. We have 100 users of this particular space an hour. We're well over 1,000 users a day.
There's so much new equipment. It's all high tech, basically all it's better than actually having a real gym membership. And I get this all for free, because I'm a Yale student.
He definitely shows a dedication to athletics at Yale and to improving student life and the quality of student life.
It is a message that this is a place that is committed to the idea of excellence, and the idea of excellence in athletics and recreational opportunities is a statement that I'm proud of.
Ultimately, it is the academic experience that defines a great university. At Yale, a distinguished and devoted faculty interacts with an exceptional student body. That is constant. What is changing is the environment in which the interaction takes place, such as Lindsley Chittenden Hall.
Here's a building that we've restored in elegant detail, and at the same time, we have brought technology that meets current needs into essentially every classroom. And indeed, we've wired some of the classrooms up in a way that anticipates future needs.
Lecture halls such as LC 101 have been wired for multimedia presentation, computer connectivity, and distance learning capability. But they've been enhanced in other ways.
It was turned 90 degrees. It was reduced from a 300-person to about a 150-person lecture hall. It's now an amphitheater in which the faculty member really can see each student in the class, and presumably each student in the class can see the professor. So simply from the point of view of making teaching feel more intimate, more closely connected between the faculty member and the student, that transformation has been remarkable.
Other rooms, such as LC 102, have not only been enhanced, but carefully restored.
That room has been preserved in period style, so that when you walk in, you have a sense of the heritage of Yale. Tiffany glass is still there, but now I can actually look around the room and see the busts of the greats. So there's a real sense in that room of participating not just in Yale's history, but in the history of Western civilization, in the great heritage, not just literary, but intellectual, that the university represents.
I think it really changes how you feel about, being in class, and then at the same time being like this nice new facility.
For me, it means that now when you walk into that building, it's as if Yale says, we recognize and care about this activity enough to have created a beautiful space for it to take place in.
Perhaps nowhere are the unique solutions to the challenges of preservation and modernization more evident than in Yale's libraries, where irreplaceable resources must be protected, and yet where access to information in all its forms must be easy and efficient. As part of Sterling Memorial Library's extensive renovation program, a new and dramatic space has been created to house Yale's priceless music collection, the second largest academic music library collection in the Western Hemisphere.
Over the past 100 and some years, we've added in great amounts of unique material that no matter how big the other libraries are, you would never find anywhere but at Yale. Single manuscripts by individual composers like Brahms and Bach. Classical concert music is represented not only by Ives, but by the full archive of the composer Virgil Thompson. Paul Hindemith, who taught at Yale from 1940 to 1953 or so. For musical theater, we have Cole Porter's archive here.
To the top,
We have Benny Goodman, which is really the sort of crown jewel of our jazz archival holdings.
Now, Yale has a music library befitting the outstanding nature of its collection.
What a spectacular facility it turned out to be. The skylights, the trusses that support the roof are architecturally splendid. The listening stations, the reading tables, every place that students want to use in that room are simply wonderful.
Music library allows access to scores, to libretti for operas and shows, allows access to compact discs so you can listen to them, and also the videos of operas or concerts or master classes.
It has really positioned us to take music scholarship, not just the music library collections, but the way that music is taught and studied here at Yale into the 21st century.
Yale will always be a work in progress. In building the campus for its 4th century, the focus will next turn to Yale's fine arts facilities and science laboratories, as well as the continuing work on the residential colleges, athletic complex, and universities' libraries. Investments in Yale's facilities are investments in the faculty and students of Yale's future.
Inside the beautiful Yale that was built for us by our ancestors in the late 20s and early 30s, we're now creating the great Yale to pass on to the next couple of generations.
This is a great place to be because it's moving, it's changing, and it's definitely looking towards the future.
When you walk onto campus and you look at everything that they've changed, it's really surprising in a way. It's almost glorious.
This entire program represents an incredible success story.
The prospects here for preparing Yale for its 4th century seem to me overwhelmingly bright. It's a very exciting time to be here.
Before you leave these portals to meet less fortunate mortals, there's just one final message I would give to you. You all have learned reliance on the sacred teachings of science, so I hope through life you never will decline, in spite of Philistine defiance, to do what all good scientists do. Experiment, make it your motto day and night. Experiment, and it will lead you to the light. If this advice you'll only employ, the future can offer you infinite